The resolution of the apparent duality of awareness and objects lies in seeing that the supposed difference is not really present. In other words, there is an assumption that there is awareness and objects. Then the mind gets tangled up in how they are supposed to be stitched together. This is like the person who asks, well, how do I awaken? And then gets wrapped up in that concept. He or she overlooks that awareness is already awake and that the supposed identity is not really present, except as an assumption. In the clear seeing of this, the dilemma collapses. The issue is similar with awareness and objects. No object or experience can ever stand outside of or apart from the awareness of it. This resolves the issue directly. The objects and awareness are not separate, even now. So why talk of how to put them together or how to see them as one? Are they separate to start with? No. Therefore, the concept and the problem drop. Most people naturally assume there are only objects and have no real sense of awareness itself. So the pointer is brought up to distinguish objects and awareness only for the purpose of highlighting the presence of awareness, not to create an absolute split between them, because there isn't one. Once awareness and your identity as that is clear, you can look back at the apparent objects and see that they have no real substance or independent nature apart from the awareness of them. This is somewhat like the figures on a carved marble relief not being separate from the marble itself. The false dilemma is apparent in the question, how are the carved figures in the marble to be seen as one? The real question is, have you ever seen them as separate from each other? The bottom line is that there can be no experience outside of awareness. So, to speak of awareness and objects as if they were independent is not possible based on direct experience. It is very important to mention a subtle point that many miss at this juncture. The objects are not in themselves the same as awareness or the abiding reality. Objects are appearances, but your real being remains independent of the presence or absence of the objects. In practical experience, you can see that objects are constantly changing, but your own being remains without break. A wave is nothing but water as such is not a wave as such. Therefore, it is not a one-to-one equivalence. That is why when people say, all appearances are the oneness, it is not a precisely clear and accurate statement. Images and thoughts are not me.
Question. Your meeting last night was very helpful for me. I now see that the mind and its concepts are just that, mind and concepts. I recognize the truth from the first time you explained it to me a few years ago, but for the last few years I have been unclear in regards to thinking and thoughts. Like Alicia Silverstone in the movie Clueless, you just need to say to thoughts, whatever. I have been investing value in thoughts and projecting identity into them, which is a typical Gemini trait. Last night helped me to see the simple point that beingness or awareness is what I am, and I need not, nor can I, leave my beingness. Thoughts are not the problem. I can see much more clearly now that it is just ignorance, ignoring the obviousness and simplicity of who I really am, that prompted me so often to identify with thoughts and to lose sight of myself in mentation.
The basic issue in this context has to do with returning to the mind, with some sense that whatever the mind is saying about you, the conceptual me or person notion, is an adequate, real, or true definition of who you are. But those images and concepts in the mind are always in reference to one's identity as that image or entity, which itself is an appearance in the mind. Our own being or consciousness nature is not an image, a thought, or an appearance in the mind, as it always precedes and survives any such thoughts. The direct and clear seeing of this position takes the steam out of any tendency to look for our reality, identity, or happiness in that network of thoughts. Why would the sky look for itself in a mass of passing clouds? It would never imagine itself to be one among the number of clouds that happen to be appearing, saying, that particular cloud is me. The sky is open and at ease as it is, always untouched and unaffected. What can a cloud do to obstruct the sky? It is the same with thoughts. They are images blowing through the clarity and spacious nature of non-conceptual being awareness, which is your innate self. Clear seeing shows that the images and thoughts are not me. They do not define me. I exist at an entirely different level or place as the space in which the thoughts appear. Looking in this way makes it hard to grasp hold of any particular thought with a sense that this is who I am. It is no bar on thought or the meaningful use of the mind in the appearance of things. However, there is a clear and emphatic recognition that no thought ever defines or limits your innate and abiding self.